Okay.
Beautiful. All right, let's do this. This is Town of Monroe Board of Finance special meeting, Wednesday, June 29th, 5:30 p.m. This meeting is being recorded, will be available to the public in compliance with state law. If you are attending remotely, please remember to mute your microphone unless you are speaking. Anyone participating remotely should state their name and title if applicable at the outside of each occasion that person will be speaking. All votes taken during which any member of this body or participating remotely shall be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Chat feature will not be utilized or considered during this meeting. All right, so we will call it to order. Roll call. We got Steve Kirsch.
Present.
Mary Hall.
Present.
Donald.
Present.
And Catherine Stouffer.
Present.
And Michael Manjos. And we have Ken Kellogg
I'm here.
and Ron Bonofsky.
Ron is here. He's not in the room at the moment, but he
But we'll
is
call him.
walking down.
Close enough.
And
Am I missing anybody else?
you got your treasurer, Frank Dutch is here, and Chris
Okay.
Nowacki, Director of Public Works is here.
Perfect.
Hello. And Heidi's here.
Heidi's not.
And Heidi's gone.
There you go.
Heidi's going back to fight with Munis.
It's my year end.
It is your year end.
It's New Year's Eve for Heidi.
About.
Oh, tomorrow will be. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, new business, EMS building committee change orders. Gonna walk us through it?
So I actually sent a memo out this afternoon. Did everyone get it on the board? Anyone
Yes.
not get it? I guess. you
Yes,
should ask.
we-
Did anyone not get it? All right,
I think
good.
we all got it.
Good. So I've outlined there's 4 change orders, which Ron can speak to a little bit more if you need to, but basically these are in excess of 10,000 and therefore require approval by council and Board of Finance. Council gave their approval Monday night. So now looking for the Board of Finance to do this so that we can get the vendors paid. Ron, you want to just hit real
Yeah,
quick,
so
the first 2 and the second 2 kind of go in.
Yeah, so let me start with the second 2. That was ledge that they encountered during the project, and you don't know what you have until you put a shovel in the ground. So that kind of speaks to itself. Those are true change orders. They were the other 2. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Data Kate,
The CATV and the date and the paging and sound were true scope changes to the Burlington contract, but they were budgeted items in the project as a whole. So they were just changes to the Burlington contract. So the money's appropriated, it was budgeted for the project. It just had to be put through as a change order because they were a change to the
it would
Burlington.
increase Burlington's contract,
Correct.
but not the overall project. And the ledge is being covered in their contingency. But that also does increases the contract. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Ron, this is Mary Hall. Question for you. Okay, I just want to be clear. Is the dollar amounts that are on here, is that the value of the change order or the new amount of the expected cost of each of those line items?
That is any added cost.
So,
Now-
so 13,000.
Added cost to the contract,
To Burlington, you're right.
to Burlington's contract. It's not an increase in the budget. It's within the appropriated amount for the project that was
Right.
passed at the town meeting.
So my question was, and maybe you can just walk me through one, like on the first one, data and the cabling, it's 13,233. So what does that bring that specific line item to now in the in the contract? Because this, if what I heard you say, this is in addition, so it's 13,000 over X. What was that X?
It's not because, as Ron was saying, because Burlington was not originally going to do the work. It was going to be done by a different vendor that the town would have had to hire.
Correct.
The project team and the committee felt it more advantageous to allow for Burlington to do the work while they're in there, had the walls out. They just figured this makes more sense. So they did the work, which is a change order to Burlington's contract. But what's that?
But not a change order to the total
Right, it was always budgeted. It was just budgeted under a different,
contract.
under the town's owner's costs, if you will, right? Is that how it's
Owner's soft costs. is the way it is.
Right.
So then let me just ask
Under
another
the
way.
law.
then. So if I aggregate the four amounts, Ron, they're still within the estimate of what was budgeted for the EMS building?
Correct.
Yes, if you include the contingency amount, because the last two are coming out of contingency.
Okay, and then
Correct.
Ken, one last question. How much of the contingency would be eaten up or is this all of the contingency?
No. They're still well within, don't they have like a, I don't know the exact number.
The original, it's $110,000.
Okay.
Okay, so after this is exercised, how much of the contingency is still left then expected?
Well, that would leave about 60,000.
Okay.
Just under.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
my clarification.
All right, very good.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Kirsch. First,
Actually, can I clarify that? There's actually, so within the construction cost, construction had its own contingency, and then there was overall project
And there was owner's
contingency.
contingency.
Yeah,
Right.
so the construction contingency was actually 182,000. So there's,
Even more.
so minus 52, you got about 130,000 of construction contingency remaining. And then
Okay.
there's overall owner's project contingency and some price
Right.
escalation contingency.
And we still feel, this is Mary again, and we still feel that that's adequate to, that contingency is good as it is right now?
I've heard nothing from the committee to lead me to think otherwise. I mean,
Okay,
the reports are all.
Nor have I,
Yeah.
yeah.
thank you.
Mike, this is Steve. I'm prepared to make a motion, but before I do, I'd just like to request that the first selectman's letter dated June 29th, 2022 on both of the items under new business be included in the minutes of the meeting in its entirety.
I second.
Oh, do we lose Mike?
Mike,
Looks like we lost Mike.
We
yeah.
lost Mike. Give him a minute to try and. He must have. A bad cell area.
Is it driving?
I don't know.
I think he was driving.
He was on iPhone, it said, so we might have lost him.
I wonder.
Yeah, I'm trying to,
He's back.
he's back. Back before I could text him.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. I got dropped and I couldn't get back in.
All right.
No problem, Mike. This is Steve. I'm prepared to make a motion, but
That'd be
before
great.
I did,
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to request formally that the first selectman's letter dated June 29th covering the two items in new business be included in the minutes of our meeting.
Second,
Okay.
I don't hear any objections.
No objections at all. That's perfectly fine.
Very good. Thank you. I will read the following resolution and ask for its approval. Resolved that the following EMS Building Committee change orders are hereby approved. Number 00013, data and CATV cabling in the amount of $13,233. Number 00014, paging and sound system in the amount of $16,173. Number 00022, partial ledge removal in the amount of $38,464, and number 00025 ledge removal balance in the amount of $12,945. Need a second.
Second, Mary.
Mike, can you hear us or do we lose you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good. Yeah, I got you guys. Okay, we have a second.
We're all
Any
set.
objection?
Let's go. Turn right on East Levering Mill Road.
Sorry, just switch to the car.
Yeah, you got a motion by Steve, a second by
Correct.
Mary. You just need a vote.
Great. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed? Hearing none, we pass unanimous. All right, let's move on to the proposed budget transfer for the purchase of fuels.
Okay, so again, as I outlined here, obviously there's a lot of uncertainty on fuel. Ron and Chris and I have been contemplating, discussing, options that we might have to basically hedge ourselves a little bit. So the option that we're proposing is to be able to basically utilize a portion. It's a relatively small, certainly would be estimated at less than 5% of our projected surplus that we'll have at the end of this fiscal year. Utilize a small portion of that surplus, $90,000, so that we can buy fuel inventory now that will account for roughly 25% of what our anticipated usage would be in fiscal year 23. So basically, just buying some inventory now, again, to hedge it, because we're certainly not locking in now. The new consortium that we've been kind of speaking with, we haven't engaged formally with them, but we've certainly been speaking with. Nobody is interested in locking in, and so that's the thought process.
Just kind of to dip our toe in the water without
Right.
diving in, so to speak.
Right.
And I think based on the current market and where the conditions are, I mean, we really don't know where it's going to be, but at least this puts our, risk of going crazy higher,
Yeah.
at least mitigates it a little bit. And our biggest risk is that we end up paying a little bit too much, but at least we're not going to end up over budget. So, they spoke to me yesterday. I spoke to a couple of other people in the finance world, and seems like a very reasonable and measured approach.
Mary
Yeah.
has a question.
So let me ask my question on this. So this $90,000 represents, Mike, it's 5% of the anticipated surplus for the total budget for 2022, correct?
No, it's less than. And again, this is an approximation because there's a lot of moving parts before we get to year end, and Ron can speak to that in more detail, but it represents less than 5% of what we believe we will have as a net surplus, right?
Okay.
Because we're over 100% in tax collections, as you know. We're going to be under on expenses. So when you combine the effects of both of those, the net surplus, this will be less than 5% of that. So basically what this is it's $90,000 of the funds that would end up going back to fund balance at the end of the fiscal year. But we're saying, rather than do that, take this small piece and basically utilize it for this inventory purchase. And just to be clear, we're talking about these percentages. I'm trying. This is not including any potential surplus on the Board of Ed. That is correct. I'm just talking on the municipal side.
Okay, good. And then one other question on the spend for POL and PW vehicles for fiscal year 22. Are they in the is it estimated that they will overspend their budget and they couldn't cover it themselves?
Those specific line items, I believe, yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike, I missed, or Ron, I missed it.
Yes, yes.
So so POL and PW vehicle could not cover it within their own silo.
With what's
Correct.
currently.
Correct.
Okay, how much are they anticipated to be over this year?
I could pull, if you want to give me a couple minutes, I can go pull a year-to-date budget report.
Just an estimate. I mean, is it gonna be 5%, 10%, 20%?
It's, I know, I could give you, you're probably way over. I know on the school side, we're way over on buses.
Right.
You're probably way over too. I'd rather not shoot from the hip. It literally won't take me that long.
That's my last question, promise.
Yeah, and just, as we discussed in the past, and I know we've discussed it with the chair offline, that we anticipated, where fuel was going, that we would handle that in end of year transfers. Because there'll be coverage either elsewhere within that department or in another department. As you know, we're going to be net under on expenditures, so we're not concerned overall. But as you know, we've known that fuel is going over this year, without question.
Mike, this is Steve. I'm willing to go ahead and put a motion on the table while we wait for Ron.
That's a great idea. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, you still have discussion later.
Correct.
Yeah, because.
Perfect idea.
discussion normally follows.
Nice.
So I'll read the resolution and ask for its adoption. Resolved that the following budget transfers be approved pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 7F of the Town Charter. $90,000 from the HR insurance account, $34,000 to the police fuel expense account, and $56,000 to the public works fuel expense account. And we need a second.
Second.
All right, and then we'll wait for Ron to come back. So we'll
Yeah,
finish
so I'm
discussion.
back.
Look at that. That was quick.
Yeah, so I actually had, I had pulled it, so playing up my desk. So Chris is already in the negative. Right now it's a couple thousand, but the final bill hasn't come in
There's a
yet.
timing thing there.
Yeah, and police right now they're actually slightly
1,000
positive,
feet.
but
Use
the
the
same
left
thing,
two lanes
their
to
final
turn
bill
left
hasn't
on
come in yet
Montgomery
either.
Drive.
I'm sorry, Ron, I couldn't hear that. I got the first part about the, 1,000 negative, but what was the second part?
Yeah, so police is actually a little, they're actually slightly positive right now. But
Okay.
again, their final bill hasn't come in yet either, so June bill.
I spoke with Chief White recently, and I know because he came to me concerned about that. I said, we're aware of it. Keep the patrol cars on the road.
Yes, don't take the police cars off the road, please. Thank you. We know gas is expensive.
Listen, that is not unheard of in other.
No, I know. The municipalities have done that without a doubt.
Yep.
All right.
So Mike, I've got
So we have a motion. Go ahead.
one question in terms of fuel. The Board of Ed is over fuel, but is still well within their budget.
So-
True or false?
I want to be, to be completely transparent, if you guys were okay with this on the town side, I've already discussed it with the chairman of the Board of Ed and the superintendent
Okay.
to
Perfect.
basically the same
Do the
strat.
same thing.
But they would
Okay.
transfer within their Board of Ed.
Yes.
Appropriations.
Yes.
They don't.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
just trying to understand overall, they're still under budget in total for the year, even
Yes.
though they may be over budget.
Way over
for-
budget in fuel.
In
budget.
fuel, right.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine. Thank you.
And the number was going to be right around 60,000
Okay.
to cover the
done.
budget.
Perfect.
25%.
All right. So we have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion, questions?
Mike, this is Mary. Just one for, housekeeping, because this, these special meetings and whatever, is it not proper that I write the email to follow up on what was presented to all of us? Should I save my questions going forward in the future to just the meeting? I was trying to give them a heads up of what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I have no problem giving them a heads up. I think that's great, but just say these are things I'd like to cover at the meeting, because we don't want to be in a situation where somebody says, she got more information than I got, or somebody was, we try to do it all transparently and on the record. So
Yeah.
absolutely give them a heads up, but just say, could we cover these things at the meeting?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you for that housekeeping.
I would always personally welcome a heads up.
Yeah, I appreciate
Always,
it, Mary. Yeah, we just don't want to have a discussion. And you can always email Ron, myself directly with as much detail as you want. I mean, it's when the entire board is engaging in a back and forth over email, it's considered a meeting under statute. So
Okay.
that's all we're trying to avoid. And sometimes people just, they're not, they don't
think about it. They
they're
get
just
excited.
emailing, and so it's all very well intentioned, and before you know it, it becomes a thing. So that's all we want to avoid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Sounds like we're good. Any objections? Hearing none, we pass unanimously.
All right.
Happy
right.
4th to everyone.
Steve Kirsch, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Steve. Happy 4th, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
happy
guys.
Fourth, too.